Hi, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another reading vlog. If you're new here, a very warm welcome. My name is Sophie and in today's vlog I plan to read the entire Women's Prize for Fiction 2026 shortlist. So you may have caught my International Booker Prize shortlist reading vlog where I read all of the 6 books that were shortlisted for the International Booker Prize. So yeah, do check that one out if you are interested. But today I'm going to be delving into the Women's Prize. So there is also a non-fiction prize, but I haven't prioritised that and sadly I haven't read any of the books on that list. But yeah, I really want to focus on the fiction shortlist. So that consists of 6 books, so I will just briefly show you those books before we get into the actual reading vlog. So here is the shortlist, and there are a couple I'm really excited to read. So I'm most excited to read The Correspondent by Virginia Evans and Heart the Lover by Lily King. So these are probably 2 that I will start with. And then we also have Dominion by Addie Hutchinson. We have Flashlight by Suzanne Choi, Kingfisher by Rosie Kelly, and The Mercy Step by Marcia Hutchinson. And yeah, I'm really excited to read the shortlist for the Women's Prize. This prize does have a special place in my heart. I'm not really a massive literary fiction reader, but it was really the Women's Prize that got me into reading literary fiction, and I found some amazing books through this prize. So last year's winner was The Safe Keep by Yael van der Woerden, and I would highly recommend that. That was a really brilliantly written novel, and I'm excited to see what she's going to write next. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this list and also cannot wait to see which book is going to win. So I won't just be reading the books in this vlog, but I also have a really exciting event, which is Women's Prize Live, and that's a day event in central London which celebrates this prize. And there will be a day of talks and workshops, and also finally an evening of shortlist readings where each of the 12 shortlisted authors, so 6 for the fiction and 6 for the non-fiction prize, will read excerpts from their books and talk more about their creative writing process and how these novels came to be. And yeah, it's really going to be an exciting event, and I've been for the last few years, so yeah, I can't wait to also take you along to that. So before I get into the reading section, please do give this video a like if you enjoy it, and do consider subscribing to my channel for more of my content. So today is the day that I'm going to get started with reading the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist. So it is Saturday, and on Monday we do have a public holiday in the UK. So I pretty much plan to read for these 3 days, and it is actually probably going to be some of the hottest days that we've had this year. So I'm really not looking forward to that. I've decided that it's too hot for me to go out, but I am going to attempt reading some of the first book in my garden, and then we'll just see how much of the hot weather that I can stand to be out in. So I have decided that as it is so hot, I'm going to be picking Heart the Lover by Lily King with this bright orange cover. So whilst I am most excited to read The Correspondent, I think I'm just going to start with this one. It seems like it is going to be quite an easy, quick read, and yeah, just a perfect read for a hot summer day. So yeah, I'm gonna spend some time outside, see how long I can stay out there in the heat, and yeah, I will then give you an update later on my progress with Heart the Lover.
a breeze love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire. Hey, I'm never the same. Whenever you're calling my name, I'm taking my sweet time. Hey, whatever the plan, I know I'm holding the best of me out of my hand. I know you'll always understand. Bring me into golden sunlight. If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side.
So I have now finished my first book on the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist. So I did finish reading Heart the Lover by Lily King, and I have pretty much spent most of the day outside, although I was under an umbrella, so in the shade. It is still very hot, a little bit too hot for me, but I did actually quite enjoy reading outside, and this was the perfect book to do that with. So yeah, I was going to give you an update when I was partway through, but actually I just wanted to keep reading. It was very bingeable. So what I would say is initially I was thinking of DNFing this. I didn't like the setup where we meet our main character. We don't know what her name is until right in the last sentence of this book. And yeah, I didn't really like the setup of meeting her and then her meeting two friends in a lecture and then ending up in a relationship with one of them and going back to their flat. And there was something about it, I didn't really like the setup. So I was initially thinking of DNFing, but then I did really get into the writing style. And actually, I would say that this one does remind me a little bit of Sally Rooney's writing. So probably a little bit more conversations with friends than normal people. But yeah, it did give that kind of vibe, and it was a similar kind of setting to those books as well, if you've read them. I don't think necessarily they had the same kind of writing style, but it did feel quite reminiscent of Sally Rooney's writing. So yeah, I did end up really enjoying this. And it is really a story of several different parts. So we start in the past where our main character meets Sam and Yash, and she does have a relationship with Sam initially, and then she ends up in a relationship with Yash as well. And then it kind of goes to further into the present, but not quite the present. And there is a secret that our main character was hiding. And yeah, an event happened at that time, and it stays in that section briefly. And then we go into the present, where our main character now has a husband and she has children. And then there is something that happens, another event that happens that brings her past into her present. And there again ends up being the conversation between our main character and Sam and Yash, and they all end up in the same room. I'm not going to tell you any more about that, as that will kind of give away what happens. But I was in tears towards the end of this, so yeah, I kind of get why they've got this on the cover now. So yeah, I did really enjoy it. But what I would say is I didn't realise until I finished. So I did do a bit of research once I finished this, as I did hear somewhere that this is connected to one of her other novels, Writers and Lovers. And I then picked this one off my shelf, Writers and Lovers, and I have discovered that the characters from Heart the Lover are actually in this book. So this focuses on one specific time, so that kind of midsection of Heart the Lover. So yeah, these are very much connected, and I have a feeling that this probably did spoil Writers and Lovers a bit. But I am going to plan to read this one, as I did actually really enjoy Lily King's writing overall, and I've had this on my shelf for a long time, so I am interested to read this. But I think I would still probably give Heart the Lover 3.5 stars, I think. So I did really enjoy it, but it was just the initial setup, and I think I'm not sure how much more I would get out of reading this book again. So yeah, it is perfect for a summer day if you're looking for a shortish romance book. So yeah, I have really enjoyed this as the first book, and yeah, I didn't think that I would be reading this in one day, so that's good. And then I think next I am probably going to move on to The Correspondent, so I'll probably start that in the morning, and who knows, maybe I can get another book read before the end of the long weekend.
Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire.
So I have started The Correspondent by Virginia Evans this morning. So it is still really hot outside. So I haven't been out yet. It's even hotter than yesterday, and yesterday was too hot for me. So yeah, I've decided to just stay in this morning and yeah, make progress with this one. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm really liking the letter format, although it's been a little bit of an adjustment to get into the narrative, so get into this style of writing a novel, but I've really loved it. And Sybil, who is our main protagonist in this, she is quite the character, and yeah, I've really enjoyed getting to know her through her letters. And yeah, so she writes letters to pretty much everybody. That's her way of communicating. So yeah, she writes letters to her family, to her friends. She also has taken this young boy under her wing. She writes letters to him. And yeah, she also writes letters to her favourite authors to talk about their latest books. And she does occasionally get letters back from them, which is a really interesting touch from Virginia Evans. She also writes a lot of letters to complain. She is quite cantankerous, but it seems a little bit difficult to dislike her considering she's very much trying to keep this forgotten art of writing letters alive. And yeah, I love that about her. So yeah, she is in her 70s and she does have children and grandchildren, but we do find out quite early on in the novel that she was adopted and her birth mother did give a letter with her. So she does have that from her birth mother, and I think that's kind of why she's attached to letters and yeah, why she keeps writing letters. So she does have an ex-husband who she still keeps in contact with, and children and grandchildren, as I said. And then there's also a few suitors in the neighbourhood. There's someone who leaves her little notes. And yeah, that's really interesting. And she does end up receiving a DNA test as a gift, which she does send off for testing. And she does exchange emails with the customer support guy, and I absolutely love those little bits because she starts her exchange off very politically incorrect, but gradually she does keep emailing this guy and they also start to form a relationship. So it seems that she's very good at forming relationships with people through letters. But there are also letters that she's writing to somebody that she hasn't sent, and we don't know who that is at this point. So yeah, I'm wondering who it's going to be. But she also is losing her sight at the start of the novel as well. So I think that's kind of informing a lot of her decisions as well. But so far, I am really enjoying this format. I'm really loving her character and love finding out more about her. And it is really interesting to see that this kind of format can really propel the narrative. So I'm also enjoying what we're finding out about Sybil from the letters she receives from other people. So she's very good at holding things back and only revealing things to us that she wants us to know, depending on what she's writing and who she's writing these letters to. And yeah, it's also interesting to find out more about her life from the other people who write back to her. And in particular, she has one good friend, Rosie, who writes a lot of letters to her. And yeah, I really like those exchanges. So I think I might potentially go outside in a little bit. It's now a bit cooler this afternoon, so perhaps I will read a little bit outside. But I think I am going to really try and push to finish this today because, yeah, I think it's doable considering the pace that I can read this because of the format. So yeah, I'm hoping to finish this one today. So I will update you later if I manage to do that. So I have now finished The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, and I really enjoyed this one. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. Yeah, it also did make me cry, and at this point I am wondering if the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist is purely here to make me cry. That's the second book in a row where I have cried. But yeah, we find out more about the letter that she never sends, and yeah, it is just heartbreaking. But yeah, I love Sybil as a character. I think she's probably one of the best characters I have read for a while. And also, I don't read a lot of older female characters, so it was really interesting to read her story. So yeah, I am so glad that I read this one, and yeah, I would highly recommend picking this one up. I love the letter format, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So that's also 2 books in 2 days, which I'm really happy about. I haven't been reading or enjoying reading as much as I have over the last couple of days. So yeah, I'm really glad that I have managed to finish 2 from the shortlist. So I did briefly read from outside, but it was too hot, so I came back in. So yeah, I think tomorrow is going to be even hotter, so I think I will probably just vegetate and read for the whole day tomorrow as well. So I think I might be able to finish 1 more book. So I think I'm probably going to pick up The Mercy Step next, just because I've also managed to borrow that on audiobook from Libby, and the author herself is reading her book. So I think I'll start with that one, because then I can switch between reading with my eyes and listening to it as well. And I think that's a great way for me to be able to finish 1 more over this long weekend. So I have started The Mercy Step by Marcia Hutchinson today, and yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving how we start this. So the novel starts with Mercy in the womb, and she's talking about how the conditions are, like, it's too tight in there and she can't wait to come into the world. And then we hear about her birth, and shortly after she ends up in hospital with, I think, pneumonia, and how she talks about missing her mother, and she talks about this cord and connection with her mother. So almost like the umbilical cord hasn't been cut, like she still has this attachment to her mother, which I thought was really interesting. So I'm really loving the narrative voice in this. So Mercy is already coming across as a really interesting character, but we can see from the start that she is living in a household with an abusive father, and also she has a lot of siblings, and there's a lot of kind of rivalry. Well, Mercy doesn't really like her siblings having attention from her mother, and she feels very protective of her mother, and it feels like it's her kind of job in life to protect her mother from everything. And she does take a dislike to her father for the acts that he commits against her mother. And yeah, so it's a very interesting setup. It is a little bit funny, but it is quite dark as well. There's some quite awful events that happen at the start, and we discover that there's a few other siblings who have been left behind in Jamaica. So this family have come to Britain, so specifically Bradford, in 1962, and they've had to leave some of their children behind. So yeah, they're hoping to make a new life in Britain. And yeah, we also start to see some of the society's prejudice against Mercy's family as well, specifically when Mercy starts school. So we see, yeah, about prejudices against her. And yeah, I can really hear Marcia Hutchinson's voice. I think this is semi-autobiographical, so I'm really interested to see where this one's going to go. And yeah, I think I'm really enjoying it so far, and I might even finish it today. So that would be great, because I've read 2 books in 2 days. So if I can read one more over this bank holiday weekend, then I think that will be really good. So I am gonna aim to finish this one today. So I am also listening to the audiobook, which is narrated by Marcia Hutchinson, and that's really good. It's great to hear her voice coming through, and yeah, I do like it when authors narrate their own books. So I will come back to you later if I do manage to finish this, or if not, I'll come back to you when I finished it. So it's now Tuesday, and today is meant to be one of the hottest days of the year so far. So we've had the long weekend, and it has been quite warm, so kind of low 30 degrees, but today is gonna be the hottest day apparently. So we're gonna get up to 35 degrees Celsius, which is far too hot for me. And unfortunately, I also can't stay at home, because today I am actually starting volunteering at a local Oxfam bookshop, which I'm really excited about. So I will be heading off for my first day there shortly, but I thought I would just check in with you with the reading so far. So I did manage to finish The Mercy Step by Marcia Hutchinson yesterday, and yeah, I did really enjoy this one. So I really like the narrative style of this. So it is narrated from Mercy's perspective. So the narrative actually starts at the point that she's just about to be born, and I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, we follow her through her childhood, and I think now she's starting to reach her teens. I can't remember how old she's got, but I think probably she's about 11 or 12 when we finish this book. And yeah, I really liked the narrative style of that, and kind of the link that Mercy keeps describing between her and her mother's, and how she feels like she's vying for her mother's attention. And yeah, she doesn't really like when her siblings get a lot of attention. It is at times really funny, but there are some really dark topics that this discusses. So some really tragic things happen in this story. So 2 people that Mercy knows, and then also we discover how abusive her father is. And yeah, in the second section of the book, one of her other siblings comes from Jamaica, so they had to leave the other children behind when they came to Britain. So they have children in Jamaica and also children that they had once they'd come over. And yeah, that was quite heartbreaking to see how this mother had to leave her 2 children behind. I think it was 2 anyway. Leave her children behind, and yeah, then she had more children when she came and they didn't know their siblings. So that was an interesting aspect of this story. And yeah, I really thought that Mercy's voice was very clear throughout this, and I loved finding out more about her and how she sees the world. So it's a very interesting concept to read a book that is from a child's perspective as she's growing up in this world and slowly starting to understand how the world works and how it is not all magical. And yeah, she does have a rough childhood. And yeah, I do think this is semi-autobiographical. So Marcia Hutchinson, I think this is quite close to her life, but it is a work of fiction. But yeah, it was interesting to hear her read the audiobook as well. So I have been dipping between physically reading and the audiobook, and yeah, I really liked hearing her voice come through on that audiobook. So yeah, I did really enjoy this. It was, yeah, funny, but at times heartbreaking. And I do love how Mercy discovered the library. She discovered books and literature, and that was her way of dealing with the world that she was experiencing. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. And yeah, I would highly recommend this. So that comes to what I'm going to read next. So I think I'm probably going to pick up Kingfisher by Rosie Kelly. So I will start this today, hopefully. And again, I've got the audiobook for this one. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. And yeah, I better head out, and I will catch up with you later once I'm back, and also once I've started reading this. And also I'm really happy with my weekend reading progress, because I did read 3 books in 3 days, which I haven't done for a long time. So yeah, that was really great to be able to do that. So yeah, we are now halfway through the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist.
Bring me into golden sunlight. If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire.
So I just got home and it is getting really hot out there. So I've enjoyed my morning volunteering, but I did have to get the bus back, and it was really hot and it was really busy, so not the best experience. I did manage to have a frappuccino this morning before I started, which was, yeah, great to help a little bit with the heat. But yeah, it is really too hot for me outside. So yeah, I think now I am gonna stay in for the rest of the day. So I have started Kingfisher by Rosie Kelly, and I think I'm about 100 pages in now. So yeah, I did make quite good progress this morning through reading a little bit in Starbucks, and then also listening to the audiobook while I was on the bus, because I can't physically read when I'm traveling. I get travel sick. So yeah, I split it between reading a little bit physically and then also listening to it. Unfortunately, I'm not really enjoying it. So yeah, I can't really pinpoint exactly why I don't gel with it, but I think it's a story about complicated relationships, and the people are a little bit pretentious as well. So again, it's that kind of pretentious people with messy, complex relationships, which don't necessarily make me interested in reading them. So we follow this narrator who, I think he's an unnamed narrator. So he is a gay man living with his partner Michael, and he then becomes infatuated with his older female colleague. So it basically talks about that and how much our main character wants to sleep with the female colleague, so the poet, he calls her the poet. And I'm not really enjoying it. I mean, the writing is not too bad. I don't necessarily like this writing style, but I do find the writing at times is very beautiful and very well written. So the writing is good. I just don't really get the story, to be honest, and I don't really enjoy it. So that is a little bit unfortunate, as I was interested to read this one, but I just don't think it's for me. I will keep reading it. I'm not going to DNF it because I want to find out what happens in the end, but it's not really interesting to me. But there are a couple of interesting topics. So it's talking about relationships and affairs, and also we meet our narrator's mother, who is very homophobic. So she really doesn't accept Michael, who is our narrator's partner, and very homophobic to them. And also she is pretty racist as well to some of the doctors. So she is in a home. She's homophobic, racist, not very nice person. And we kind of get an idea about our narrator's upbringing and his relationship with his mother. So there's some interesting things going on in this, but it's just not for me. But I will probably read a little bit more this afternoon, or maybe I'll just have a nap. I'm really tired, and it's really too hot for me to do anything. So maybe I'll just stick the audiobook on, or just read a small amount, and maybe call it a day. So I'll check back in with you once I have finished reading Kingfisher. So it's now about a week since I last spoke to you, and I did take a little bit of a break to read something else that was on my May TBR, so not Women's Prize related. And I now only have 5 days to complete the shortlist. So I did finish Kingfisher by Rosie Kelly. I did finish that, and still my feelings are the same. I don't really like this one. It's not for me. I think it's just more kind of the story I don't gel with, although I would say her writing is beautiful, so I would be interested to read more books written by Rosie Kelly, but just this one is not for me. Although it did also make me cry. Once again, I'm crying at a book from this shortlist, so I think that's the whole purpose of this shortlist. So it does deal with quite some traumatic events. There was actually quite a lot packed into this book, despite it being quite short. So just under 200 pages. So in that respect, it did have quite a lot of interesting things, but I didn't gel with the story, and I just really felt bored, to be honest, through most of this. So it's a shame, as I was really looking forward to reading this one and hoped that I would like it, but it's just not for me. But it may be for you, so don't let me put you off reading this one if it sounds something like you'd be interested in. So that's now 4 of the shortlist read. So I do have 2 books left in 5 days, as I mentioned, so I'm actually not 100% sure that I'm going to finish these before the announcement. So I do have Dominion, which is quite short, but then we have the longest one on the shortlist, which is Flashlight by Suzanne Choi. So I do think I will probably get the audiobook to help with this one, as it is very chunky. So I think next I'm gonna read Dominion by Addie Kitchen. So this is another one that I'm looking forward to reading, and I think I can probably read this in a couple of days and then just leave Flashlight. And even if I don't finish it, at least if I get partway through it, then I feel like I have given the shortlist enough time. But yeah, just like me again, to leave it to the last minute. So yeah, I will be reading Dominion today.
Golden sunlight. If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire.
So I have been reading Dominion by Addie today, and I am about halfway through now, and yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. So I do like the narrative style that we have for this. So it's split into predominantly the two perspectives of two women who are in this community. So firstly, we have Priscilla, who is married to a pastor. She has several children, her youngest being called Wonder Boy, and he is kind of the child that can't do anything wrong, but we do discover more things about him and his character throughout this book. So that was an interesting aspect. And she's also talking about her life married to the pastor, and it's not necessarily as good as it seems from the outside. So she is in, I would say, an abusive marriage as well. So yeah, she confesses some things in her perspective. And then the other perspective we have is through Diamond, and she is in a relationship with Wonder Boy. So she talks about her experiences with him. And yeah, I like to see how the two women talk about specifically Wonder Boy and how they have different kind of ideas about his character. That was an interesting aspect. And then there's also bits of scripture, well, not scripture throughout, but there's these are little writings from the minister's desk. So about, yeah, what the message is going to be. And I think these are potentially also going over the radio as well. So there are some breaks in that narrative to have these spiritual messages from the minister. So yeah, that is quite interesting. And yeah, it's really interesting to hear more about this community and life of this community, and how church is very much at the center of a lot of their lives. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I do really like the writing. So yeah, I'm having a really good time with this one, and hopefully I will finish it in the next couple of days. So I am back to report that I have now finished Dominion by Addie. So I didn't expect to read this in 2 days. I thought maybe I would be reading it a little bit longer, but I managed to do it in 2 days, which is good, as I now only have, I think, 4 days to read Flashlight. So yeah, that's going to be quite a tall order to finish that one. But yeah, I'm glad that I managed to read this one quite quickly. And I did really enjoy it. So the narrative was quite compelling. I like how we switch between these two female perspectives. There is an event that happens a little bit later on in this book involving Wonder Boy, and that kind of brings everything they know crashing down. So both these women, so Diamond, his girlfriend, ends up getting even more entangled in Wonder Boy's life and actions that he has taken. And yeah, it does kind of really split the community and split the family, really. So we see a little bit more about Priscilla and how she is contemplating whether her marriage to Pastor Sable Winfrey, whether her marriage to him and the characteristics of her husband have rubbed off on her son Wonder Boy. So yeah, she is left kind of questioning what part her and her husband, or predominantly her husband, play in Wonder Boy becoming like he is. So yeah, it was very interesting, and there is something that is written in either a newspaper article or just some kind of flyer or something that happens earlier in the book. It then does kind of link back to Wonder Boy's actions, and yeah, it does tell a lot about society today and a lot about sexual assault and how these crimes are seen by society, specifically this very religious society. So I really like the writing, and I would really be interested to read more of Addie Kitchens' work. I think, yeah, she's gonna do some really good things, and I did really enjoy this one. So I think this is actually one of my favourites on the list so far. So I do still have Flashlight to go, but yeah, I think this is going to be one of my favourites from this shortlist. So I will have to now get on with reading Flashlight. I do have the audiobook for that. So yeah, I think that's going to help. I do have quite a few events going on this week. So I do have a Titan Publishing event which is happening in Forbidden Planet, and that's the day before Women's Prize Live. And then we obviously have the announcement for the winner. So yeah, quite a busy week. And also, yeah, so Tuesday I'm volunteering again, and the event is in the evening, so that will be a busy day. So yeah, I am looking forward to this week, and hopefully I can finish Flashlight before the winner is announced. So it's finally Women's Prize Live Day, and I will be heading off shortly up to Bedford Square Gardens in central London, where the event's taking place for the day. So I think it's either starting at 12 or half 12, I will check that. But yeah, it's just off Tottenham Court Road in Bedford Square Gardens, and it's a private garden, so it's only really open to the public for these events. So yeah, it's a really nice little area for this. And they have various different tents and workshops and one-to-one things going on, and also author signings. So I do have the programme here, so I will just briefly before I go decide what things I want to see. So there's a bookshelfie live, which is, I think it's for the Women's Prize podcast, so Vic Hope interviews an author. So this year it's Catherine Stockett, author of The Help. So that's starting off. Then there's something about the enduring appeal of Jilly Cooper, but I don't think I'll be doing that one. I think there's other ones that I wanted to do. There's also Alan Davies and Joe Brand. Again, I might not be doing that one, as I think there's something else I'd rather do in the other tent. That's the only thing I would say is, like, there's different tents, so you can't see everything. And then there's something called Love Beyond the Margins, which is a talk with Kieran Millward Hargrave, Elle McNichol and Candice Carty-Williams. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that one. That one looks really interesting, and yeah, I love Kieran Millward Hargrave. I love her writing, and also I do love Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams, so that will be a good discussion. And then we have the Women's Prize shortlist readings, so that's always the best part for me. I love listening to all of the shortlisted authors give readings and talk about their books. So that's everything that's happening in the main tent, but there's also another tent, and there's an event about Discovery's debut. So this is for authors who are unpublished, who haven't got an agent or anything like that. But you can submit 10,000 words of your writing, and yeah, you can be on the long list, shortlist, and also winner of Discoveries. So yeah, that's a prize I'm potentially interested in entering if I can ever actually write anything. So they have India Rose Bauer, who wrote We Call Them Witches. So she's attending that. So I'll probably go to the Discoveries talk. Then there's a panel on difficult women, why society still demonises women. So again, I'll probably be going to that one. And then there's a talk about championing forgotten female voices. And we have Jenny Godfrey, Sophie Hannah, Gillian McAllister, and that's chaired by Kate Moss. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll be doing that one, as I want to do the other one in the main tent. And then there's also another tent with workshops. I have done these in the past. So I did, I think 3 or 4 years ago now, I did attend a writing workshop with Kate Moss and Alicia Fack, and that was amazing. That's probably the best workshop that they've had at this day. So yeah, I have done a few workshops, but this time I'm probably not going to do them. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the day. And yeah, so that's pretty much the program. So yeah, I will just jot down which ones I'm going to attend so I don't miss anything. And then I do still need to finish Flashlight. I had hoped to finish this today. I'm just over halfway through, so the chances are I'm not going to be finishing this one today, as I'm not going to have a lot of time to read. And yeah, that will just mean that I'm going to have to try and finish it off tomorrow. So I do have the audiobook, and that's helping. I would say I am enjoying this one. It just does feel very long, and everything feels described in so much detail, and that's good. But yeah, this is quite a long read, and yeah, it does seem that there's quite some complex things going on in here. So yeah, we meet our main characters after this event on the breakwater, where Louisa wakes up and her father is missing, presumed drowned. And yeah, she doesn't remember events leading up to this, and she is seeing a counsellor. And then we meet her mother as well and hear more about her background, her past. And then yeah, we spend quite a lot of time discovering about her father's background, his upbringing. So we discover that he is living in Japan, but his family is from, I believe, North Korea, or at least his family end up in North Korea. So yeah, there's this kind of political tension going on as well. So it's very interesting. It does remind me a little bit of the way Ruth Ozeki writes. So she wrote the book of Form and Emptiness, which won this prize a few years ago. And yeah, there's just something about kind of the depth that they go to in descriptions. It feels a little bit like that. So yeah, I will hopefully read a little bit more of this via audiobook on the way to the prize. Maybe read a little bit while I'm there. And yeah, hopefully I can then finish the rest off tomorrow before the winner is announced. So yeah, I better get going, and I will speak to you tomorrow once I have attended the Women's Prize Live Day, because it will be a long day because the signings go quite late into the evening. So yeah, I will catch up back with you tomorrow.
catching a crazy love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire. Hey, I'm never the same.
2026, bringing you the greatest celebration of women's creativity at the beautiful Bedford Square Gardens in central London. And it is a beautiful day.
I know I'm holding the best of me out of my head. I know
Elise Carty Williams is a novelist and culture writer whose new book, Queenie is Working on It, the highly awaited follow-up to the acclaimed bestseller Queenie, finds our protagonist tackling being stuck in a situationship while her biological clock is ticking. And Queenie is Working on It is out on the 2nd of July, and pre-orders will be available in the bookshop. And next to Candice is Elle McNichol, a best-selling and award-winning novelist and screenwriter whose book Unapologetic Love Story is her first novel for adults and follows the amazing Londoner Raina, whose hit podcast provides community for autistic women, and the dashing yet complicated journalist, that's what I'm calling him.
That's very complimentary.
Yeah?
I was going to say pompous and arrogant.
Dashing, complicated, pompous, and arrogant journalist who is determined to uncover her secret. We'll hear more about Tom shortly. And then we have Kieran Millwood Hargrave, who's an award-winning poet, playwright, and novelist, whose new book, Almost Life, is an epic love story.
Some of you have been coming to these readings ever since we started, which is 31 years ago, and tonight we're going to celebrate 12 extraordinary books. As well, and I hope you're having a fantastic evening wherever you are. So that was amazing, wasn't it, the first half? I mean, incredible. Past the mark, but you're going to have just as good a second half, ladies and gentlemen. Because we are about to welcome to the stage the 2026 Women's Prize for Fiction, 6 shortlisted authors, led by their amazing chair of the judging panel, Julia Gillard.
So it's the day after the Women's Prize for Fiction live event, and I had a really good time. So yeah, I got into London a little bit earlier just as I wanted to take a slow walk up to the gardens. So I got into Charing Cross and then just walked to the event. And I actually didn't go into any bookshops at all. You will be proud of me. But I did actually go to most of the bookshops the day before when I went to the other event. So I'd already done that. So in terms of what happened in the day, I got there, I think about half an hour before it opened. There was quite a big queue. But yeah, I just had a quick look around the gardens to see what was going on. And it started with a Bookshelfie podcast, which is hosted by Vic Hope. So this is specifically a Women's Prize podcast, I believe. And Vic Hope interviews various authors, and she gets them to pick 5 of their favourite books and kind of tell their life story through these books. So yesterday they had Catherine Stockett, who wrote The Help, and she did a really good talk about her favourite books. And it was so interesting to hear more about her background and how that informed what she's writing. And she was also talking about her new book, The Calamity Club, which I haven't read yet. And then there were various other different talks. So there was one on the Discoveries Prize, which is a prize that you can submit 10,000 words of your own writing and you could potentially be longlisted, and then there's a shortlist and a winner, and a lot of these authors do end up going on to be published. So India Rose Bauer, who wrote We Call Them Witches, was supposed to be there, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. But yeah, she is one of the people who has been shortlisted, or I think longlisted, I'm not sure, but she has been associated with the Discoveries Prize. So it's actually something I'm really considering doing. So I think I do have some ideas for novels in my head, but I just haven't written anything yet. But every year I say that I'm going to enter and I don't, but maybe this year, maybe I will do it. So there was that, and then there was also a panel called Difficult Women. So that was really interesting, discussing women in writing and women labelled as difficult women and what that means in different writings. And they did discuss about unlikable female characters and how they are perceived by readers. And yeah, that was quite interesting to listen to. Then there was a panel, I think it was about writing about love and relationships. But on that panel, they had Candice Carty-Williams, who wrote Queenie, Kieran Millward Hargrave, who has written quite a lot of books, including The Mercies and The Dance Tree, which are two books that I've really enjoyed. And then I can't remember the name of the last author, but she was talking about disability in fiction, specifically disability and romance in fiction. And yeah, she is autistic, I believe. And she was talking about how a lot of autistic people aren't perceived as having kind of romantic interests. And she tries to write autistic characters in her books. And yeah, that was also a really interesting discussion. And then afterwards, I did get my book signed by Candice Carty-Williams and Kieran Millward Hargrave. So I will just grab them here. So here is Queenie. So I read this a long time ago. And yeah, it's really interesting. And Queenie is a really interesting female main character. But yeah, I got it signed and a little message in there. And then also Kieran Millward Hargrave signed my books. So these are really stunning editions. So I've got The Mercies here with beautiful sprayed edges. And yeah, I got that signed. And then also The Dance Tree, which again is a beautiful sprayed edge edition. And yeah, she also signed that. And then there was another few talks, I think. And then finally there were the shortlist readings. So everyone from the non-fiction shortlist and the fiction shortlist read an excerpt from their book and also talked a little bit more about their novels, about their writing process. And yeah, it was just really a celebration of their writing. And that was really interesting. I always love the shortlist readings. I think they're the best part. And then afterwards, each of the authors does a signing. So I've got all of my books signed, which is great. So I've got Flashlight. Even though I haven't finished this yet, I still did get it signed. So yeah, signatures from all the authors. Also Addie Kitchens. I also met Arundhati Roy and got this book signed. Even though I haven't read it, I just think this is going to be a really powerful memoir. And then Marcia Hutchinson nearly left before I got it signed, but she came up the queue, so I managed to get it signed. So yeah, I got that one signed. And then Lily King, Heart the Lover, got signed with a nice little message in there. And then Kingfisher, although I didn't really enjoy this book so much, I still got it signed. And I have to say, though, I think the writing is really good in this, actually. The way that Rosie Kelly writes, I think is really good. So yeah, I did get it signed. And then also my favourite, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, which I got signed. And yeah, I did just tell her that this novel was unique. And yeah, it was really great to meet all these authors and get my book signed. But also I did get a really nice goodie bag. So everyone who attends gets given a goodie bag, which I will show you. So yeah, this is the bag. So you either get a non-fiction or a fiction bag. I just took which one was given to me. But there were some really exciting things in this bag. So I'll get to the most exciting things in a minute, but I'll show you what else was in the bag. So we got some chocolate truffles with Baileys. And then there was some various bits of paperwork. So there's a bookmark for a new novel by Bonnie Garmus, who wrote Lessons in Chemistry. I'm really excited about that one coming out. And yeah, various bookmarks and bits and bobs. Lots of little bits of paper. And you get a program as well. So yeah, it shows you everything that's going on. And then most excitingly, the bag contains some proofs. And yeah, it's so exciting to get proofs. So this one is by Bella McKee. So this is called Claws Out, and this is out in August in 2026. So I think I have one more book by this author, so How to Kill Your Family. I haven't read it yet. But yeah, this is now a new book that's coming out by her. So there's proof. And then this one called Maria Maria, and this is by Jennifer Galvayo. And on the back it says the Women's Prize exclusive proof. And then this is also going to be Hutchinson's Heineman's lead debut for 2027. So that was a really exciting proof to receive in the bag. And then I was absolutely in shock when I saw this proof, because this is one of the books that I am really excited to read that's coming out towards the end of this year. And this is Life Out of Order by Audrey Niffenegger. So this is a sequel to The Time Traveler's Wife, which I really love that book. So yeah, I'm so excited that this one was in the bag, because I really wanted to get a proof for this. So yeah, I'm signed up to a lot of influencer lists. I requested this proof. I've commented on Bookstagram to try and get this proof from the publisher. But to have this in the Women's Prize bag was so exciting. So I really can't wait to read this one. And then I also did pick up another proof with some free ice cream. And this is called The True Confessions of First Lady Freeman. And this is by Disha Filioir. And on the back here, it says the debut of the year. So yeah, I'm also excited to read this one. So it's really nice to receive some proofs in the goodie bag. But yeah, had a really great day, and I will probably be going again next year, as I just love the Women's Prize and I love the event. So yeah, the winner is going to be announced later today, but I still have to finish Flashlight. So yeah, I'm going to have to get reading this today. So I think I have about 200 pages left, and it's the last part of this book. And it finally looks like we're going to find out what happened on the breakwater with Louisa and Cirque. So I think we're going to find out more about Cirque's fate in the last part of this book. So yeah, that will be me today, and then I will come back later once I finish that with my thoughts on the full shortlist, and then I will rank the shortlist in terms of what's my favourite. And then we will have the winners announcement, so we'll find out who's going to win, and I'm really excited.
Bring me into golden sunlight. If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire.
So I'm happy to report that I have finished reading Flashlight by Suzanne Choi, and I'm really glad that I did, as I think this is the first time that I've read the full Women's Prize for Fiction before the winner announcement. So yeah, I'm really proud of myself for having done this. And yeah, overall, I did enjoy Flashlight. I thought it was a really interesting novel, and I did kind of like this sweeping epic tale of this family and also kind of the history within the region between South Korea, North Korea, Japan, and also Koreans living in America. And I thought this was really good for highlighting some of those experiences, and yeah, also experiences with illnesses and also this mystery surrounding this family. And it was really interesting to see ultimately what happened out on that breakwater and what happened to Cirque. So yeah, overall it was a really good read, but I just found it so long and at times a little bit tedious to get through. But I think Suzanne Choi is a really good writer, and I would be really interested to read more books by her. So I think she does have some more. So yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, she does have 5 more novels. So yeah, I would be interested to pick up more of her novels. And I think maybe because I was also audiobooking quite a lot of this, I think maybe the audiobook was also a little bit tedious. So yeah, maybe that was part of the problem. But yeah, I would still say that I enjoyed this. I just think, yeah, it was super long and maybe it didn't need so much detail. But at the same time, I quite like the amount of detail that it went into. But yeah, I would still recommend this one. So in terms of ranking the shortlist, I'm just gonna let you know what my ranking is, what I want to win, and what I think will win as well. So in last place, unfortunately, is Kingfisher by Rosie Kelly. So I just didn't really like this. It wasn't really for me. But also I kind of do get what the author was trying to do, and it is quite an interesting story. And yeah, it was also interesting to see more about the narrator's background and his past trauma, what has shaped his life. And I do think that Rosie Kelly is a really good writer, so I would love to read more written by her. But ultimately, this book just wasn't for me. So this is in 6th place. And then in 5th place, I think I am going to put Flashlight by Suzanne Choi, just because it was quite tedious. And also there were books on this shortlist that I enjoyed more. And then it was a little bit tricky for me to then decide on the top 4. So I think in 4th place, although I did quite enjoy it, I think Heart the Lover by Lily King. And yeah, I think it's just the other books kind of stayed with me a little bit more than this. And yeah, whilst this is a really enjoyable read, I think it would have been enhanced if I'd have read Writers and Lovers as well. But yeah, a really good read and did make me cry. So yeah, I did really enjoy this one, but this one is in 4th place. And then in 3rd place, I think I wasn't expecting to put this in 3rd place, but I think as it's kind of stayed a little bit with me, I think The Mercy Step by Marcia Hutchinson is going to be in 3rd place. And I think this is also the narrative style. So I love how she begins telling this story from Mercy's perspective in the womb. I just thought that was really interesting. And the way that she describes Mercy's bond with her mother, I really enjoyed that aspect. And also the fact that Mercy loves the library, she loves Greek mythology as well. And yeah, this was a really interesting book as well. And then in 2nd place, I think it's going to have to be Dominion by Addie Kitchens. So again, I really enjoyed this story. So I didn't think that it would be kind of 2nd place, but I liked the writing and I loved how she was telling this story from this perspective of 2 different women. So Priscilla and then Diamond, and how she explained their kind of relationship to Wonder Boy and also their kind of position in society as well. And I actually really loved Priscilla's narrative. I loved finding out more about her. And yeah, I really did enjoy this one and I did like the writing. And yeah, I'm really excited to read more by Addie Kitchens. And then in 1st place, and I think actually this is quite far out above the rest of these books, and this is definitely my favourite, and I really enjoyed this. The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I loved the narrative style of the letters. I loved how Sybil still keeps this kind of art alive of writing letters, and yeah, in a digital age now, everything is digital and people don't really write letters anymore. And I thought this was really kind of a love letter to letter writing. And I love the character of Sybil. I love that we have an older protagonist in this. And yeah, I liked how the narrative style made it easy for Sybil to keep specific events from us until she was ready to tell us. And yeah, I liked that aspect. And I really do think that this is one of the most unique books that I have read, at least recently. So yeah, I really want this one to win. So yeah, I'm really hoping for this one to be announced as the winner later. But I actually think that The Mercy Step does have potential to win this prize. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this one win. But actually, I guess apart from Kingfisher, for me, I think I wouldn't really mind if any of the others won the prize. So yeah, I'm really excited to see who's going to win later. So I will pop back as the announcement is taking place, and yeah, I'll show you some footage of the announcement and also my reaction to the winner. So yeah, I forgot to mention the non-fiction prize and who I think is going to win. So I haven't actually read any of the books on the non-fiction list, so I'm not really in a very good position to guess which is going to win or to have any grounding in which book is going to win. But I think it's probably going to be Mother Mary Come to Me by Arundhati Roy. So this is one of the books on the non-fiction shortlist that I am most excited to read. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this one will win. And also, yeah, I can't wait to read this one. So it's almost time for the winners for the Women's Prize for Fiction and Non-Fiction to be announced. And I'm really excited to see who has won the prize. I really, really, really want The Correspondent to win. So I hope that does. And for the non-fiction, although I haven't read any of those books, I really am hoping that Arundhati Roy will win for her memoir. And yeah, I'm just really can't wait to find out who wins now. So hopefully the stream will start in a couple of minutes and we'll find out. I have a feeling there's going to be some speeches before the prize is announced. So I will probably just cut those bits out and then probably just get right to where the announcement is. But yeah, I will have the announcement on the screen and also show you my reaction to it. So yeah, I think they are just about to announce firstly the non-fiction and then the fiction. So let's see who has won.
Debonair back to the stage to announce the winner of the 2026 Women's Prize for Non-Fiction.
The decision was hard, because we honoured every single one of our writers and we took time to consider each book over and over and over and over again, and it was a pleasure. But in the end, we were able to choose a book that, as one judge described it, is a perfect work of narrative non-fiction. Compelling, epic, important for our times and for the future of our worlds. And the winner is The Finest Hotel in Cabal by Lise Doucet.
I'm actually really surprised to see that one win. I mean, I haven't read any of the books, so I can't really comment. But yeah, there were two books about hotels, and whilst this one sounded really interesting, I didn't predict that it would win. But yeah, it does sound like it tells a really important story about a hotel in Kabul and the people who work there, and yeah, how these people have seen and gone through so much. So yeah, I am really interested to read this one. But yeah, I didn't think that it would win this prize. But yeah, let's listen into a little bit of what she has to say about winning this prize. Yeah, she certainly looks very emotional about winning it, so it seems like it does mean a lot to her.
Thank you. Even if it has to be said, the best stories are true. And may I say here tonight, may there be a women's prize as long as there are women on this earth. Writing is a solitary act, but a book is not. A book is the work of so many hands. My great gratitude, of course, goes to my colleague Mahfouz Zubeidi, my Afghan colleague, a friend of 25 years, who worked with me on this book every step of the way. Last year, I entered a new world, a world of books. And what a wondrous world it is. Books will not survive without writers, without readers. Writers who are menaced by the rise of artificial intelligence. Good people of the Women's Prize. We will win. We will win, but we will only win if we do this together.
And now for the fiction prize. I'm really excited to see who's won this.
Welcome back to the lectern, the chair of the 2026 Women's Prize for Fiction, Julia Gillard.
Thank you very much. I know the tension is almost unbearable, so I am going to be very, very quick. You must hold in your hand every book on the shortlist. You must read every book. Every book will find a place in your heart. All 6 will hold you spellbound. Each summons us to a radical act of empathy. There can, though, only be one winner, and on behalf of the world's best judging team, tonight it is my absolute honour to announce that the winner of the 2026 Women's Prize for Fiction is Virginia Evans.
Yes, I'm so excited it won. I'm so happy. It was my favourite from the shortlist, so it's really nice to see that it has won. So yes, I think she really deserved it as well. Like hearing at the live event how she struggled so much to get her work published, and it's taken pretty much 20 years for her to finally get recognition for her work. I think, yeah, I'm so glad that she won it.
I wrote some remarks. I'll just read. Thank you to my fellow authors, Addie, Susan, Marcia, Rosie, and my dear friend Lily. And it goes without saying, I'm only standing here because I'm surrounded by love. Ever since I was a child, I have found my greatest comfort and my greatest pleasure in books. I'm a reader, which means I have never been bored. Reading fiction, indeed loving to read fiction, loving to be lost in another world is why I am a writer. It is not enough. Reading is not enough. I want the stories, but I want to get inside the machinery. I have never wanted to do anything more. I have always known this is what I was made for, books and fiction.
So yeah, that was some really beautiful words from both of the winners of this year's prize. So yeah, I am so happy that Virginia Evans won with The Correspondent. This was by far the best that I read on this shortlist. So that brings me to the end of this vlog. I've had a really great time reading this shortlist, and yeah, ideally I would love to read the long list, but I never seem to get round to it. So yeah, maybe next year I will try to read the full long list as well as the shortlist. So yeah, I do still have a couple more books to read from this prize, so some of the books that were longlisted that I'm really interested to read. So I still have A Beast Links Towards Beijing, which I'm really excited to get to. So this is by Alice Evelyn Yang. I also have The Others by Sheena Kalayil. I have Wild Duck Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, and then I also have Audition by Katie Kitamura, which yeah, are on my TBR, so I will try to prioritize these by the end of the year. Yeah, I'm not sure if I will, but yeah, I'm trying to prioritize those. And then that still leaves 6 more books that are on the long list, which I hope to read at some point soon. So yeah, thank you for watching, and do let me know if you're interested to read any of these books or if you've read them and what you thought. and yeah, what you thought about The Correspondent winning this prize and The Finest Hotel in Kabul winning the non-fiction prize. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.